Listen, we got to discuss breaking news in the sport of boxing right now. Everybody knows Gervonta Davis and Roach. They're about to lock horns. It's a big time fight that's on the horizon now. Today it was a big press conference, cameras, microphones, everything. I was in the face of Gervonta Davis. Pause. They can't obviously questions arose, and we all knew one of his nemesis in Shakur Stevenson. Questions arose about a potential bout. To Gervonta's credit, he has been kind of talking that fight up a little bit. So he did look a little bit disgruntled that questions like that was coming his way. Gervonta Davis is the truth. I mean, we gotta pay homage. This man, he's 30-0. We just got to call it how we see it. I mean, the southpaw is just deadly. I mean, we just got to, I'm just call it how I see it, y'all. Tank is like the boogeyman, and he came out and said that, who is Shakur Stevenson? He said that basically Shakur hasn't fought anybody, and he also said that Keyshawn Davis was better than Shakur Stevenson. We all know Keyshawn Davis is the protege. Keyshawn pretty much is tagging along with Shakur, and he's vowed to never fight Shakur Stevenson. It seemed like these two have some kind of covenant, but I believe Shakur would fight Keyshawn. I believe it's Keyshawn the one but that's neither here nor there. So I'm going to break down these statements coming from the champ. This is a crazy situation. All three fighters are undefeated. I got my man Phonics in the house. Phonics, what's your thoughts on the situation in the sport of boxing?
Yo, man, just like everything else with this generation, ain't nothing but drama. Number one, Shakur is not even box office. Nobody's looking for Shakur. I mean, I appreciate you giving him some relevance, but because nobody else is. Like his last year, his last couple of fights, he really got to come out and dominate somebody. Keyshawn Davis, he been putting on some exciting fights. You know what I'm saying? Tank is just talking smack, man. You know what I'm saying? Tank and Shakur will never fight. They're not on the same level, and the money won't be there. You know what I'm saying? Shakur would have to fight at least 5 or 6 more fights. With that could go into some years. And honestly, I don't think Tank Davis has years ahead of him. I think he'll retire in a few more years and he'll be done with boxing. You know what I'm saying? He got the money. You know what I'm saying? Especially if his record stays intact. What's he staying around for? He's not trying to chase Floyd. He's not that kind of a fighter. He doesn't have that mind frame. You know what I'm saying? He wants to get to the bag, remain unbeaten, and just go out, you know what I'm saying, on top. You know what I'm saying? So all this with Shakur, like I said, I appreciate you giving him the free publicity, but nobody's checking for this dude, man. Like he is irrelevant in boxing right now. You know what I'm saying? It's really sad. You know what I'm saying? But that's his fault because of the performances he put on his last few fights. There's nobody checking for him. So like, who is he really gonna fight at this point? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That of a big name. But go ahead.
yeah, I'm with you there. You brought up Gervonta and possibly walking away. He also teased that in his press conference. He said pretty much, he was going to wrap up another fight after this. I mean, he's teasing retirement, in so many words. What do you think about that? With his statements on possibly really walking away, and he's pretty much on top right now. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't even say something like that. He says, these are the quotes. I want to give it word for word. Pardon me. He said, after next year, I'm out of it, out of the sport. What's your thoughts on these statements from Gervonta Davis?
Well, that's like a lot of athletes today, with the exception of somebody like LeBron. A lot of these dudes is making FU money. What are they sticking around for? Why stick around in a sport like boxing when you can risk losing your life or getting hurt for the rest of your life? He's making top dollar. He's a cash cow. He's that guy. Pause. So nah, go out on top. You got the bread. What you sticking around for? They're doing it in football. They're retiring young now. I mean, look at Aaron Donald. Won a Super Bowl with the Rams. Next year he's saying, yo, I holler at y'all. He's like 32 years old. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, these dudes is making real money right now. There's no real motivation to stick around unless you want to rob the bank without a gun like Kawhi Leonard and somebody else who will remain nameless. But yeah, you know.
Yeah, man. Like I said, it's crazy. To be honest with you, the contracts and things of that nature. But We got to see what's going on. What do you think about when he said Shakur hasn't fought anybody? What do you think about the resume of Tank and the people he fought? Opposed to Shakur, maybe Oscar Valdez, maybe the most respectable out of Shakur's list. What's your thoughts on the opponents that they fought against and your gauge of who's fighting who and this, that, and the third?
You talking about Shakur compared to
Yeah,
who?
like the opponents, that Shakur fought against and the opponents Tank fought against. Because Tank came out and said, who has Shakur fought? He's trying to make it seem like he's got in the ring with nobody of notable. What do you think about the people you seen Tank? He fought, obviously some tough fights, Pitbull Cruz, to name a few. What's your thoughts on his opponents opposed to Shakur's?
I mean, there's no thoughts on that. His resume, the fighters that he fought, even with Frank Martin's a damn good fighter. You know what I'm saying? If Frank Martin was in the ring with anybody else that night, he'd have won. He just couldn't take Tank Davis's hits, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Ryan, what's his name? Garcia? Yeah, the one who knocked out old
Yeah,
boy.
Devin.
Yeah, one who knocked out Devin. Yeah, man. So yeah, he's been in there with Pitbull Cruz. He's been in there with some serious guys, man. Yo, Shakur does not match the resume of Gervonta Tank Davis. I'm telling you, the fight will never happen. If for entertainment purposes we want to just throw this around, that's fine. But on a serious note, as a boxing enthusiast, I don't want to see that fight happen. I'm not a fan of Shakur's anymore. He's not an interesting fighter. He damn near looks washed. You know what I'm saying? He has a lot to do to prove himself, and he really needs to shut his mouth. That's what I would recommend for him. He needs to stay on social media and shut his mouth, man, until he got some signature wins. And like I said, by that time, Tank probably gonna be gone. So
yeah, like I said, you're right about that. I mean, it obviously is more for Shakur than a potential fight against Tank. I mean, Tank don't really have to do it, do it?
Nope.
I mean, you're right. I mean, Shakur does have a title, so I mean, you don't think maybe Gervonta will be eyeing something like that, or you don't think he got
Nah,
no
nobody
hopes?
respects that. Nah, nobody respects that. Nah,
Nah.
nobody respects that, man. Yo, nobody cares about Shakur Stevenson, and Shakur Stevenson knows that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody checking for him, man. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
he had a fall for grace. He was like obviously looked at the next Mayweather, and now people just snoozing on him. I mean, it's crazy how things can happen in the blink of an eye, right?
The intro is, and you rolling around with a pound for pound champ like Bud Crawford, and ain't none of that rubbing off on you. That's what's shameful. That's your boy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You right up under him. You at every training camp and everything, and you ain't get no kind of tips. Like you still come in the ring looking unmotivated. Come on, man. Hey, I get a young boy Kid Austin, you know what I'm saying, props. In his last fight, he was like, yo, I just want to put on a show for the people. You see, he has that humbleness to where, he wants to do well. He wants to entertain the fans. Shakur, he has an arrogance where he don't seem to think he has to. So, okay. We'll
Well,
see.
we're going to find out. We're going to get into this Shakur, Kid Austin stuff. So make sure you hit the like button and most definitely hit the subscribe button. You already know what it is. It's Flight Sports TV. You already know. Peace and love.